The next project I need to do on my layout is I need to straighten out this incline over here. When I cut the hole in it for the bridge, there was a certain amount of rebound in the upper section. You can't really see it from here, but when trains go over it, you definitely see it. There's a hump at the other end of the bridge. My plan is to take the bridge out, pull the track, and restructure this decline so it's flat and straight. I'm not sure what I'm going to have to do in order to achieve that, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm also going to change to a smaller rail code. I'm going to change to a code 83. It's an HO track. It's an engineered track. It's specifically designed for bridges. Of course, North American bridges, and this being a UK layout, it would seem that the two wouldn't really blend together very well, but I mean, I have a vision for the bridge. Never been happy with the way the track looks on it. If you liked the video, how about giving me a thumbs up? If you're not subscribed, try subscribing and hit that little bell so you'll get a notification if I put up a new video. I did notice while searching my archives that in videos released on YouTube, I managed to hide the hump pretty well. However, in the cab ride I'm about to show you, the bobbing is visible. Note the rise and fall as the train crosses from the end of the bridge to the following track section. It drops down as it leaves the bridge, then rises as it comes back up to grade. The train next to the camera shows the bobbing up and down okay too. It is subtle, but it is there. When I originally cut the gap to accommodate this new bridge, it caused some problems with track alignment, vertically and horizontally. Now, let's see if I can get my hand in here to demonstrate this. There's quite a bit of flex, unwanted flex. And it wasn't a problem as long as this was connected together as one long piece. And I had frame members that ran underneath all the way along here. But I cut those to make a gap. Well, now it's caused this hump right here. I've got a string line, and you can see that it's quite a bit deeper. Well, maybe you can. Let's see if you can. Right here. It's, I'm going to guess it's about 35 millimeters, maybe 30. But down here, it's 10. That's not a good thing. This is a bridge flex track, HO scale, code 83, number 11-101 from Micro Engineering Company. I've got a box of this. Enough to do the entire bridge. Each section comes with the guardrails, guard timbers, if you plan to use them. I don't think I will use them. It also comes with 2 fire water barrels and the pieces and parts to make the barrel platforms. I might use these to build a refuge. I'm not sure. Okay, back to the job at hand. One unexpected thing happened. When I lifted up this and put a brace under it, is what I did. I added a leg on this outside corner right below where my finger is. I ran a leg down to the ground and I lifted up this corner back to, as near as I can tell, about where it was before. And as a result, it squeezed the cutout for the bridge together. So when I put the bridge back in, it didn't fit by about 3 or 4 millimeters. Fortunately, I had put a shim, I had put a wooden strip in as a shim to make up space, to make up a gap that had occurred due to bad measurement or this sagging. I suspect when this sagged, I had done all my measurements without this sag in it. And when I made the cut and took the beams out that went all the way through, then this corner sagged down and opened it up. And so when I put the bridge in, I had to shim it in order to close the gap. And because I had made all my measurements before I cut it. That makes me wonder if I'm not pretty close to where it was before. I hope so. Now all I need to do is figure out how to make the track run straight, which is a little bit of a problem because somehow or other the bridge is narrower than the track is. Relaying the track in that tunnel down there is going to be just about impossible because you can't really see it. Maybe if I zoom down there, you'll be able to see it better. The tunnel right there, just beyond the bridge. That tunnel was built off-site. I didn't build it in place, in situ. I built it separately, and then I turned it upside down and put it in its location. So when I laid the track, it wasn't there. Consequently, it'd be very, very difficult to relay the track in that tunnel. I'm reluctant to pull it up because I'm afraid I'd never get it back down as well as it is now. There might be a slight jog in the center one and an even bigger jog in the outside one. This is a great way to straighten out your track and make sure they're in alignment, or to do your track lining. Line and track, as they say. Anyway, I think we got this one pretty well solved. They're bringing a ballast train up. I'm going to run it across the new section. Make sure everything is perfect. They're bringing it back. Bridge track is code 83. This is the transition, one of these, that goes between the code 83 and the code 100, which is the base for my whole layout. If I was building it today, I would probably build it in code 83 or code 75. But at the time when it was originally built, which was 13 years ago, it was code 100 was, a pretty reasonable choice. The guardrails came with the bridge track, and the bridge track is different because it has so many sleepers. which is typical on North American bridges. I know in the UK most bridges are ballasted, but I didn't want this bridge ballasted because I wanted to be able to look up from underneath and see trains with the camera. If you don't know, this was a scratch-built bridge. We all know how to ballast, I think. But there is one thing that I see frequently that I think could be improved on. That was just a drop or two of a dish soap in water, and I'm spraying it with an old Windex bottle, spray bottle, window cleaning bottle. This is what I use to spread my glue. You can use various kinds of glue, everything from matte medium to Elmer's, PVA, whatever. I use a dilute Elmer's myself. But this condiment bottle, this US style condiment bottle, I guess it's US, I don't know. I don't think I've seen these too many other places in the world. It allows you to spread your glue very accurately and very quickly. I mean, I see people with eyedroppers. I mean, that takes forever. I mean, you could do it if you want to, certainly. But using a condiment bottle is so accurate and so fast. I just don't see why more people don't use it. I'll let that set up, soak in and set up, and tomorrow we can run some trains.